Hey everyone, Sonya Jones here, Outreach Representative with the HSHS Medical Group, and today I'm here with Keith Griffith. Keith is the VP of Quality here at HSHS Medical Group. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now Keith, we're talking about face masks today because they are everywhere. You see people in their cars with them on, you see people at the grocery stores. I actually saw someone the other day at a grocery store with their face mask underneath their chin. So I thought it might be good today for us to spend a little bit of time talking about face masks and maybe some things to do and not do.
Very good. And as you just mentioned, we have federal guidance and state guidance that says anytime you're out in public and you're going to be within 6 feet of other folks, that you want to have the mask on.
Right.
So it's important that we're talking about why we need the mask on, right?
Right.
So the mask is really and truly protecting others from you, because we may not know, we may be carrying it and not even know it yet.
Sure.
And then if I am around someone and they cough or sneeze, at least this stops those droplets from coming to me. So in understanding why we're wearing the mask, it's important to know how we get the best protection from that mask. So when we take a standard mask, or even if it's a cloth mask you've made at home and it looks something like this and has the ear loops, we want to talk about how to properly put it on. So we start with the top portion, we get it above our nose, we connect over the loops, and we pull the bottom down so that we're getting full coverage.
Right.
And the whole point is to make sure that we're getting as tight of a fit as possible. Now, when we talk about healthcare workers wearing a mask, and in those extreme scenarios where they could have the most potential for infection, they're wearing more like a respirator style mask,
Sure.
or the N95 that's been popularized.
Yeah.
Those masks, to be effective, you have to have a complete tight fit where nothing gets around.
Okay.
Right? But for our general purposes, these types of masks, we're not going to get that tight of a fit, but we can get as tight as we can.
Sure.
Right? So what we don't want is to put them on and just have them kind of in their stiff way and not pulled around.
Oh, sure.
So I've just put it on, and I might stick that on and feel like, oh, okay, I'm good. But now
You're
I've
not
got
good.
big gaps, right?
Right.
Now, some people, you mentioned how you see people wearing them. Some will even just wear them over their mouth, right? And they think, oh, yeah, I'm good. Well, the nose is not covered. So now I'm breathing in these things. I'm breathing out things. I'm still contaminating the environment.
Right.
So I got to make sure it's up and over. I want to get it all the way up over the bridge,
Sure.
so I can get a little seal.
Okay.
Because if not, when it's straight and I just put it over the tip, there's no way for me to even really get a good seal. I got to go clear up into the bridge of the nose,
Okay.
and then try to get that seal. The other common thing that you see is that when people get hot, because they are hot, and they feel like, I just got to take it off for a bit, then they're just bringing it down.
Yeah.
And really, this is just like really nice earrings.
Right.
I mean, I'm doing nothing
Sure.
to protect myself or those that I'm around. So this really isn't helpful. So we want to make sure when we're wearing the mask that we do have it up, cut over the nose, and sealed as much as possible up under the chin.
And Keith, what would you say? I see a lot of people who are touching things and then I'll see them mess with their mask.
Yeah.
So don't you also need to think about how the front of your mask is contaminated, right?
Yeah. And the funny thing is, probably in public, the biggest advantage of the mask for me as an individual is that it keeps me from touching my face.
Sure.
Right? It doesn't keep me from touching my eyes, which is a route where I can, get have organisms pass. But it does keep me from touching my mouth and my nose.
Okay.
Which is the most common thing people do, and they don't even realize how many times per hour
Yes.
they touch their face.
Right.
So the mask is the greatest benefit is that it keeps me from touching my nose and my mouth.
Okay.
Now you talk about being in a store. Now if I'm touching objects, then I really need to, use hand sanitizer or something before I
Right.
touch my face. So
Okay.
that kind of comes into the other thing going on out there right now, where a lot of people are wearing gloves.
Right.
And gloves are good if you're touching contaminated things, and then you can take them off and wash your hands.
Right.
But if I'm wearing them continuously, they're really no different than just my hand.
Right.
Because now whatever surfaces I've touched, whatever, a can off the shelf, opening up that door to get milk, right? All these things I've touched. Now, if I leave those gloves on and just go right to my billfold and pull out money, or
Touch
go
your
right to my
phone.
phone,
Right.
I'm just contaminating it the same as if I didn't have the gloves on.
Right.
So it's just important to think through that and know that those gloves are just an extension of our fingers.
Right.
So we need to make sure they're clean before we actually touch our face or some other object that's going to touch our face.
And the rubber gloves we can dispose of.
Yes.
Tell me when we should get rid of the mask or when we should reuse it.
So the masks, the general rule on that, if you have a cloth mask, you're going to want to wash it daily. So at least you have a clean mask daily that you're able to put on.
Sure.
A mask like this, you can wear it until you can, one, it's just soiled to where it's totally soiled.
Right.
Or when it's wet, it's not as effective.
Okay.
And then the third would be if you just can't breathe through it.
Okay.
And you will reach that point. So eventually all those little pores end up filling up.
Right.
And you do get to the point where you really just can't breathe through it.
Got it.
And then it's time for a new one.
Time to get rid of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Keith, thank you so much for your time. This is super helpful. I hope all of you stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll see you next time.